Hello, fellow Bulls fans. Welcome to the second annual State of the Bulls Blazing Beard address. And yes, the Blazing Beard is looking pretty good in his sexy tie. What happened to his Bulls tie? Those of you that saw the first State of the Bulls address, well, I don't know, because somebody might have been drunk and fell in a snowbank and lost it after they used it to tie it around their heads and ears so that they didn't freeze. I'm not naming any names. It happens. Anyway, where are the Bulls, as I formally address you as the president and all-time leader and ring wearer of the Bulls blogging world and appreciate your love and support? I'll start with ups and downs, and when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down. And even though it's a little early this morning, Bulls fans, we do need to address a few things. First of all, in this last year, I would like to say one thing. Jimmy, Jimmy Butler. Bulls fans should be happy of the emergence of our fantastic all-star and perhaps that caliber that only a few players in the league are ever at, as developed in front of our very eyes over the last couple of years. And this year, finally, taking over games, putting it in his hands, and we've seen a few very epic performances from him already. Now, Bulls fans, we know that we have another special thing emerging, and he said, why do you like it that Pau is on the team? And he said, because he knows what it takes to win a championship. The relationship between Jimmy and Pau is reason, Bulls fans, for us to be absolutely thrilled at what's going on. Even though we know that we're going to get to that in the State of the Bulls address, what we really need to improve on. Obviously, the death of LeBron James as the world's greatest player this year, replaced by Steph Curry, is reason enough for us to celebrate the last year. But we've got a new coach. We have players that are developing and players that we expected to really break out this year. Now, some of them have and some of them haven't. But the first thing we need to improve upon is turnovers. The second thing we need to improve upon is defense. The third thing we need to improve upon is toughness. And that we've got a long history of being tough. Our history in this Bulls country is built to the foundation of being tough. And yet, the Bulls don't look as tough as we wanted them to be. Now, we need to remember to keep positivity in our lives and positivity with this dream, because I have seen more Bulls groups online that complain more than the most spirited teenage girl in her worst days, online and in person, and the worst moody teenage boy. And these groups have fallen apart and started attacking each other. But brothers and sisters, where our heart is, there is no color, there is no gender, it is only Bulls, and Bulls for life, and we know that. So we must stay positive. We must stay positive because there is a lot of the dark side calling to us out there. And we know that this team needs a lot, and the Blazing Beard never calls for a trade in all of his years doing this blog. But we might be on the shakiest foundation going into the new year that the Bulls have been in many, many, many years. But the Blazing Beard went back and looked at his blog from last year, and certainly enough, there were ups and downs as there are in any season. We have a roster that can beat the hardest team or lose to the worst team. Therefore, we have absolutely no idea where we are sometimes. And that's hard being a Bulls fan, but you have stayed that course. You have stayed tried and true. You have stayed true to the dream. And to make that dream happen, we must have defense. We must have toughness in this new year. We cannot have a team that doesn't respond to coaching that makes more money than any of us in these Bulls groups combined ever will make in our lives, unless we win the Powerball, which simply is not going to happen. So, these millionaires need more effort. They need more heart. They need more desire, because the Bulls fans have that heart and effort and desire, and we also have an awful tendency to hate this team after a couple losses. We've had a 6-game winning streak. We've lost a bunch. People are posting up points on us, but we're still learning as a team. And I do believe that Jimmy Butler is our answer. Health is always a question. Don't worry. In this new year, may your Bulls be full. May Skip and Stephen A. Smith fall into a dark hole and have weasels and badgers rip their eyes out while people are pouring hydrochloric acid over them and